High above at 12,000 feet, where human breath meets the sky, the Potala Palace emerges as a monumental marvel etched against the cold Tibetan clouds. With 13 stories and 1,000 rooms, this architectural giant houses 10,000 shrines and 200,000 statues, all carved into the very heart of the mountain. Bright prayer flags snap in the thin, freezing wind, carrying ancient chants across the Himalayas, a tradition that has remained unchanged for over 1,300 years. Faithful pilgrims circle the sacred base in the ritual of Kora, their hands spinning copper wheels, many having walked for weeks just to touch this holy ground. The palace stands as an impossible fortress, yet its master left in the dead of night 60 years ago, leaving behind a silence that echoes through time. This is the story of a midnight departure in 1959, when the spiritual heart of Tibet was forced into an exile that has never truly ended. Behind these silent walls lies a history of power and devotion, where the boundary between the earthly realm and the divine becomes beautifully and dangerously blurred. Who remains inside these halls today? The answer is a haunting void, for the palace serves as a museum to a living tradition that is now elsewhere. To understand Potala is to understand the soul of a people who built a mountain of stone to reach the heavens, fueled by an unwavering spiritual fire. Join us as we descend into the secrets of the world's highest palace, exploring the treasures, the tragedies, and the enduring mystery of the Potala. In the 17th century, the great fifth Dalai Lama sought to unify Tibet, not just through politics, but through a spiritual declaration written in stone and gold. He ordered the construction of Potala in 1645, choosing the site of a 7th century fortress to claim a lineage that stretched back 1,000 years. 7,000 laborers and 1,500 master artists spent decades building this monument. Yet the Great Fifth would never see his vision reach its completion. When he died in 1682, his successor kept his death a secret for 15 years, issuing commands in the name of a ghost to finish the palace. This level of devotion meant the work continued uninterrupted, fueled by a collective dream that the palace must stand as a permanent center for the Tibetan soul. The architectural genius is staggering, with stone walls built without a single iron nail, relying on traditional interlocking joints to withstand the test of fierce mountain winds. To ensure its survival, engineers poured molten copper into the foundations, creating a flexible yet indestructible base that has survived countless earthquakes over 3 centuries. Potala is not just one building, but 2 distinct worlds stacked upon each other, separated by color and purpose, defining the duality of the Tibetan leadership. The White Palace represents the secular realm, the center of administration and law where the Dalai Lamas governed the daily lives of their vast, high-altitude nation. Every year, hundreds of workers hang from ropes to repaint these walls with a mixture of lime, milk, and honey, keeping the facade eternally bright and pure. Within these halls, the Dalai Lamas received ambassadors from Mongolia, Bhutan, and China, making this palace the diplomatic heart of the entire Buddhist world for centuries. Every pillar and beam is a masterpiece of craftsmanship, telling stories of ancient kings and divine protectors who watched over the high plateaus of the Forbidden Land. The walls themselves are a living library of Tibetan history, painted so that no generation would ever forget the struggles and triumphs of their ancestors' long journey. The brilliance of the White Palace serves as a reminder that even the most sacred leaders must attend to the practical needs and peace of their people. But as one moves toward the center, the atmosphere shifts, and the white walls give way to a deep blood-red crimson known as the Potrang Marpo. These red walls are crafted from the roots of desert willows, a material as hard as rock but lighter, symbolizing the spiritual power and vitality of Tibet. This is the spiritual heart, where time is measured not in years, but in the infinite cycles of reincarnation that define the path of every Tibetan Buddhist. Here lie the magnificent golden stupas, the final resting places of 8 Dalai Lamas, each a monument of unimaginable wealth and even greater spiritual devotion. The tomb of the Great Fifth stands nearly 15 meters tall, plated with over 3,000 kilograms of gold and 18,000 precious gems and jewels. In the silence of the Red Palace, a single butter lamp has remained lit for over 300 years, never once allowed to go dark through any crisis. Even during the darkest years of political upheaval and closure, this flame flickered on, tended by unknown hands that refused to let the palace's soul extinguish. The Red Palace is where the Dalai Lamas spent their hours in deep meditation, seeking wisdom to guide their people through the changing tides of the world. It is a place of profound stillness, where the echoes of ancient chants seem to vibrate within the very stones of the mountain itself, calling to eternity. Crowning the entire structure are the legendary golden roofs, marking the most sacred spaces where the light of the sun and the light of Dharma meet. Potala is larger than the Vatican and taller than the Colosseum, a maze of rooms that once held the entire government and spirit of a nation. From this height, the Dalai Lamas watched over their world, but in 1959, the young 14th Dalai Lama saw only a world under siege. On the night of March 17th, disguised as a simple soldier, he stepped out of his palace and into the darkness, beginning a perilous journey through the mountains. He fled toward India, crossing the highest passes in winter, leaving his throne and his home behind to ensure the survival of his people's message. Since that night, the highest rooms of the Potala have remained without a master, preserved as a museum, while the true owner remains thousands of miles away. The palace remains a stunning masterpiece, but it is a body without its breath, and a grand temple whose chief priest is forbidden from ever returning to its altar. Today, millions of tourists walk these halls, their cameras capturing the beauty, but few can truly feel the weight of the exile that haunts every corridor. Recognized by UNESCO in 1994, the palace is carefully preserved by the government, but the preservation of stone is different from the preservation of spirit. The lamps are now maintained by those appointed by the state, a subtle but profound shift for people who see the palace as a living entity. 3,000 kilometers away in Dharamsala, the 14th Dalai Lama, now in his late 80s, continues the work he began when he left the Potala. He has become a global icon of peace and wisdom, yet he has never again stepped foot inside the palace where his 8 predecessors lie in golden tombs. The distance between him and his palace is not measured in miles, but in a political and spiritual chasm that the world has yet to find a way to bridge. For the Tibetan people, the Potala remains their North Star, the fixed point around which their identity and their hope for a future return revolve. Decades have passed, regimes have changed, and the world has modernized. But the question of who truly owns this heritage remains a bleeding wound. To some, it is a glorious relic of the past. To others, it is a living symbol of a struggle that defines what it means to be Tibetan. The electric lights give it a modern glow, but they cannot replace the warmth of the thousands of monks who once brought life to its cold stone veins. Without its leader, the palace is like the Acropolis without its gods, a beautiful shell that reminds us of the fragility of even the greatest civilizations. Yet the prayers do not stop. Beneath the walls, the faithful continue their Kora, spinning the wheels of destiny, refusing to let the connection be broken. The 14th Dalai Lama often says that he is a simple monk, but he carries the weight of this mountain in his heart wherever he goes in the world. The rain washes the white lime and the red willow, a natural ritual of cleansing for a palace that has seen too much blood and too much sorrow. Every detail was designed to protect and to inspire, to turn a jagged mountain into a ladder that the soul could use to climb toward enlightenment. Inside lie thousands of volumes of wisdom, the collective memory of a people who prioritize the inner world of the mind over the outer world of things. If the Potala is a shell, then these books are its thoughts, waiting for the day when they can again be taught by the one they were written for. It stands as a testament to human ambition, showing that we can build things that outlast our lives, as our empires and even our most bitter conflicts. As the sun sets, the gold of the roofs flares one last time, a defiant spark of light in a valley that is slowly being swallowed by the night. Potala is a lesson in permanence and change, a reminder that the most sacred places are those that we carry within us, regardless of where we stand. The silence of the courtyard is heavy with the ghosts of dancers and drums, a reminder that culture is a living breath, not just a static display. A single chime rings out, a lonely sound that travels over the rooftops, searching for an ear that truly understands the language of the mountains. The modern city grows around it, filled with neon and steel, yet the ancient palace remains the undisputed master of the skyline, unbowed by the new world. There is a power in this stone that no modern building can replicate, a density of faith that makes the air around the Potala feel thick and electric. The tourists come and go, but the mountain remains, an eternal witness to the rise and fall of kings and the enduring patience of the Tibetan soul. In exile, a new generation learns the rituals and the language, their eyes always turning toward the north, toward the palace they have only seen in pictures. The Potala is now two places, a physical structure in Lhasa and a spiritual memory held in the hearts of millions across the globe. As long as that flame burns, the story of the Potala is not over. It is merely a long, dark night waiting for the inevitable return of the dawn. Under the silver moon, the Potala looks like a dream made of stone, a vision of what humanity can achieve when it looks upward for its inspiration. Their devotion is the real foundation of this palace, more durable than copper and more precious than the gold that plates the holy tombs. He prays for the palace and for the people, and for a world that can one day reconcile the beauty of the past with the justice of the present. The bird flies free, a symbol of a spirit that cannot be contained by walls, no matter how thick or how holy they may be built. Potala is a bridge between the earth and the stars, a place where the human heart can feel the vastness of the universe and its own small place within it. It remains the highest palace on earth, not just because of its altitude, but because of the height of the hope that it continues to represent for millions. May the Potala continue to stand as a reminder that meaning is the only thing we build that truly lasts forever, across every mountain and every sea.